Are you having trouble rooting basil? Well, what I discovered is the older it is, especially if it has flowers, they just tend to root easier. So whatever you're getting, it might be too young. So you can see, this is my pinky. That's how big the stake is. And I'm going to show you another vase that I have with basil in it. And that one too has some roots in it. Okay, so this one I had by the, the mason jar, I had by the window, so I got some light. This one kind of had a little light, but it's just by the kitchen sink, not next to a window. And this just wilted, so we'll move it. But oh look, this one rooted too. You see that? And you can see when I cut this, I damaged it, and oh, yeah. Let's just pop it in there. I don't know if I'm gonna plant these. I kind of have enough already, but I need to lift it up. So let's see where we have roots. So look, the one that is rooting, that's pretty obvious rooting, this one right here, it's the thickest one. So you, and the other ones, well, this one's rooting a little bit. Oh, can you see? It's getting out of focus. But basically the ones that are rooting are like the bigger, thicker stalk ones. So if you want to root them, you simply can just harvest it. So what I do is when I harvest it, I just cut a whole bunch in, and then I keep them in a mason jar and the flowers. And if you walk by it, you can just, oh, it smells so good. And just have it like almost like cut flowers, which is what I kind of use them as, except this you can eat it, and if I need it for a dish or anything or garnish, just pluck it off. And I have basil. Also, I want to add that I just use tap water, nothing special, and no rooting hormone, nothing. I just left it there and it rooted. So this must have taken maybe a week or so, I think, since I cut it in. I'm not really sure. I wasn't really tracking it, but I just remember when I cut it in, it wasn't, it didn't have flowers yet. They were just buds initially. Another tip is how much water is in it. So if you don't have something as mature as the ones I have, put a little bit of water and put the basil, so just the very, like a little bit is touching the water. And I found if you do it like that, it's less likely to rot. So let me show you. Let me just dump out sort of dirty sink and give you an example. So say you have something that isn't as mature. Okay, all these are pretty mature. So let me just stick it in and show you how much. So say you have something like this. Like that. I know it looks like a little bit, you have to keep an eye on it, but if you do that, it's less likely to rot. And that's what my friend did, and my neighbor does that as well. And that helps with cuttings. But I found that, you know, if they're more mature like these, they just really root on their own. And actually, typically I try to do it. Actually, you know what? Let's look at where it's rooting. People always do like, oh, you should do it under the node. Okay, you see, that's where it's rooting. Let's see, you see that, the white stuff right there? Let me see if I can get a chopstick. Okay, sorry for the bad camera. My son broke my little tripod thing. Okay, you see right there? Those are the roots, I mean. And it looks like, oh, right there is where I broke it off. So this is a node right here. And it's rooting right there. So basil seems to really root around the node. But you see up here, there's roots up here too. And you know what? Let me get my other cutting and then we can check those out too. So I hope that helps. So I just took the one from the mason jar and I'm being a little careless with them because I don't technically really need these cuttings. Okay, so right here, I actually cannot tell if this was at a node or not. But see, so this is an area where you could cut right here where I'm pointing the chopstick. And let's see this one. So maybe you can try damaging it. So right here, this one is, let me point to you where the node is. So this is the node. And you see there's more roots there, and then there's just some down here. So your best bet is cutting it under the node, cutting it under the node and then having it root. And this is my son's small chapstick, but then you can kind of see how thick that is. This is my pinky. You know, so this is a decent size one. And that's it for now. Happy gardening.